Okay, class, we're on the last part of L230 here, and so we're going to jump right into this so that by Friday, all of you will be ready or have finished L230 and passed. We're going to start off talking about vague words, and vague words are words that we consider unclear, words that we don't want to start our sentences off with a vague word. Those words are here, there, it, they, and you. You want to rewrite the sentence so that those words are not the first word of your sentence. So here's an example. There are pink roses in the garden. Well, if I asked you what's the subject of the sentence, it may be hard to find because there's a vague word as the first word. So in order to correct this situation, to give us a clear, definite subject of our sentence, we want to remove there as the subject of the sentence. So once there is in that subject space, we want to move it out the way. And once we do that, it's better just to say pink roses are in the garden. So now if I ask you what's the subject of the sentence, you can say pink roses. So do you see the difference here? First, we started off using there. We're going to get rid of there because that's a vague word or not a clear word. And we're going to replace it, get it out the way, and then you're left. And now I know that the subject is pink roses and pink roses are in the garden. I want you to try this one. It said in the memo that the meeting is Wednesday. Well, what's your vague word in this sentence? Go back and look at the list you just wrote down. Okay. Now, is this a clear subject? No, it's not because of the it. So again, let's remember what we said we'll do. We're going to get rid of it. And what's the it anyway we're talking about here? Yeah, we're talking about a memo here. So instead of using it, we're going to simply say memo because memo should be the subject of the sentence. So when we go to revise this, the memo said that the meeting is Wednesday. So now we have a clear, definite subject. When we had it said in the memo, we weren't clear what it was, but now we can jump right into it and say the memo. So this sentence has been revised that it has a clear and definite subject. We know exactly what this sentence is about. Now you decide. I would like for you to write A and B down and make a choice, and we'll go over this in class. I would also like for you to do the second A and B, write both sentences down, and then I want you to decide, we'll go over this in class, whether the answers are A or B. So take a moment, pause the recording, and write this down. The second part of our lesson is dealing with tricky adverbs. Write down the adverbs almost, only, even, hardly, just, merely, scarcely, and nearly. A lot of times when we use these adverbs, and remember adverbs are words that describe verbs, they describe adjectives and other adverbs. We have a tendency when we use these ones here that they may not be next to the word that they are describing, and that's the point of adjectives and adverbs. We want them right next to what they are describing. So look at this sentence. Priscilla only has dessert on special occasions. Now, my question to you is, what is only describing? We're talking about Priscilla only has dessert on special occasions. So in this sentence, she doesn't eat dessert all the time, does she? She does it when? Only on special occasions. Now we look at this sentence. Only Priscilla has dessert on special occasions. Now, what is this sentence saying to you? Does everybody have dessert? No, only Priscilla. So make sure that when you are using adverbs that they're right next to what they are describing. We'll talk a little bit about that more in class, though. Just make sure you get those adverbs down in your notes. Now, the next couple of slides deal with some commonly confused words that you will be tested on doing the L230. So we're going to quickly go over these words. Some of them we have gone over back in 8th grade, so this may simply be a review for you. Let's start with the word father and father. I've always told my students when you're looking at these words, I'm going to help you out here. Let me pull up my pen here. Let's get rid of the laser and use the pen. I always say look at F-A-R. When I'm walking or driving, if it's far, I'm thinking distance. Okay, so F-A-R deals with distance, going somewhere. So Chris lives farther away than Antoinette does, dealing with distance. Further, on the other hand, deals with additionally or more. So I need further or additional help so I must stay after school. So make sure you get those two down. Bring this sentence to class. Robert threw the ball farther than Anthony. Ask yourself, am I dealing with additional here or am I dealing with distance? So bring this last sentence to class and you'll get the answer in class. So pause the recording here and write the sentence down. Your next set of commonly confused words are effect and affect. Now, effect is the result of an action. I always tell my students here, if you get confused and you don't know which one, just play a substitute game and use the word result in the place of effect. The effect of sleeping in class is failure. So let's substitute, and I would say the result of sleeping in class is failure. As long as it fits, that means you've used the right word. What about affect with an A here? It means to cause a change in or to influence. Your attitude will affect or change or influence your success. So that is the key to helping you with effect and affect. Effect, you should be able to substitute the word result, and affect is to cause a change. Now, write this sentence down and bring it to class, and we will get the answer in class. I want you to choose which one you think it is. Low interest rates will have an affect or effect on your final payment. Principal and principle. Now these words, not only, they really sound alike, but they have very different meanings, okay? When we look at principle, it's a basic rule or standard of behavior. The principle of success is to believe in yourself, or the basic rule of success, or the standard of success is to believe in yourself. The second use of the word principle here, we're going to use it within this lesson to mean the head of a school. I always tell my students, how do you know the difference between the words? Well, the principal is your pal. Your pal, of course, is going to be a person here. So our principal is Mr. Coleman. Our pal is Mr. Coleman. Here is your sentence to bring to class. Quincy sticks to his principles or principles. Choose the answer choice that you think is best, and we will get this answer in class. Your last commonly confused words that you'll be tested on are two of my favorite words, fewer and less. Even the grocery stores have these words messed up. Fewer always refers to things that can be counted. If I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever, then I can use the word fewer. So I have fewer students in my second block than my first. I can literally count that. I can see, I can pull up numbers. So we want to use fewer. On the other hand, less refers to things that cannot be counted. We're talking about maybe measurements or like the sand of the sea. There's less sand on Gulf Shores than Fort Morgan. Now, we can't sit there and count each grain of sand. So because it can't be counted in 1, 2, 3, 4 form, we're going to refer to it, we're going to use less here. And that's why it's wrong in the grocery store. When you see it in the grocery store, Walmart says 20 items or less. Well, I can count. Excuse the bell. I can count up to 20 items. That's why I shouldn't say 20 items or less in Walmart. It should say 20 items or fewer. Here's your sentence. Write this sentence down and choose your answer and come to class with it, and we'll see if you're right. So pause the recording and get the sentence down. The new office has fewer or less desks. Which one should it be? Last slide refers to, last couple of slides did with unnecessary words. Sometimes we use words that we don't need to use. And then we're going to start off talking about the words off of and from. For some reason, we use these words the wrong way. We use them as Southerners. We can't help ourselves. We're used to being wordy and using too many words. Well, when we're talking about people, I am from Mobile. I got the pen from Canaan. So when we're talking about ourselves or people, we want to make sure that we tell people that we're from somewhere. All right. I am of Mobile. I got the pen off of Canaan. I hear a lot of students talk about what they got off of somebody. Let me get that off of you. So be careful that when you're dealing with people that you say, I got the pen from, or I got the cell phone from. Now, I want you to practice. Bring this sentence to class. Well, no, I'll give you the answer here. The book fell off or off of the table. Again, remember, off of is what concludes an unnecessary word of. So the book doesn't fall off of the table. It simply fell off the table. Off of is considered unnecessary. How about, let's practice this some more. Another problem I see is that students like to replace the word have with of. Here's an example. I could have won the race. I could have answered that. You could have come to my house. And of is not the right word here. We don't want to use that preposition of. We want to use a verb. I could have won the race. I could have answered that question. I could have. Remember that. So you don't want to use the word of when instead you should be using have. Look at this. He should have hit him back. You say that all the time. He should have. But no, instead it's he should have hit him back. Okay, so you've learned two words that you're going to be testing on in this lesson, making sure that you leave off. It's not off of, it's just off the table, and making sure that you do not replace the word of when instead you should be using have. Now that's all for this final part of your lesson. Make sure you bring those sentences to class, and we'll practice in class. Have a great day.